I used to take those trips when I was with TNA, Brian, and I would go pert near 1,700 miles round trip. And except for the burden that I would face actually at the shows, it wasn't that bad a trip a lot of times. There were trials and tribulations, but sometimes it was just boom, cruising down the highway. But I went out of town this past week, and it was not just cruising down the highway. I had a week where I had the most fun time anywhere I've been in just years and years. And the trip to and from it was the unluckiest that I think I've ever been, or at least in 30 years on the road, just for the frequency of what the fuck things going on. And I will tell you folks now that I'm back and nobody can come and ambush us. I went with some of my oldest friends, and I mean that in a chronological fashion. We're old, we're very old, to see the Jack Pfeffer collection at the University of Notre Dame. And we'll talk about it in a minute. And I, if you've listened to this show very often, then you know who Jack Pfeffer is. But for the kids, we don't want you to be left out. So you got a minute or two while I tell this other story. Google Jack Pfeffer, Pfeffer. But I went to the University of Notre Dame, where that collection is located, with the other members, Brian, of what we now call the Flying Toehold Club, which consists of my oldest and best close personal friend, Bobby Fulton of the Fantastics, and Tom Burke, who I've known for, good God, I've known him for 2 years longer than I've known Bobby, so 47 years. And Tom Burke's friend, Chris McMahon, who I just met, who's much younger than us, but who was just a wonderfully helpful individual, and because he's a school teacher and he's smart and using all the modern technology. His brother, Pat, didn't believe him when he said he was coming with me and Bobby Fulton and Tom Burke to the Pfeffer collection. So, Pat, go fuck yourself. How about that?
What did his Uncle Vince think of it?
There's no relation.
Yeah, sure.
He is he's red-haired and nothing like the dark and evil McMahons. He's the light and happy McMahon. He's a happy, peppy McMahon. Oh. But anywho, what?
It's the awkward pause after that comment.
I was clearing my throat, and I was just about to jump back in, but I'll jump back in anyway. But anywho, he said as he jumped back in, we went up there, but as I said, I was happy while I was there. We're going to talk about that. But people wonder why I don't go out of town and I don't take trips. So what the fuck? It's like the old Rodney Dangerfield line. I got up this morning. I opened the door. The doorknob fell off. I picked up my suitcase. The handle fell off. I'm afraid to go to the bathroom. I'm afraid to leave the house again. I'd been planning this trip for weeks. And Brian, you know the weather down here, it's been the pop-up torrential downpour thunderstorms in the afternoon because of the high heat and humidity, but there hasn't been like widespread rain coverage. And the forecast a couple of days out was the same thing. Oh, you're going to get thunderstorms, downpours in the afternoon. I said, I'll just leave. It's 280 miles. It's like a 4.5 hour drive. I said, I'll leave about 11 o'clock in the morning and I'll just be out of that hole. And I even checked the weather up South Bend, was going to be cloudy and whatever. Indianapolis, same thing, maybe pop-up storms in the afternoon. Well, Sunday morning I get up and I figure I'll just check the weather for any updates. So this is about 8 o'clock here in Louisville, right? I checked the weather. Same thing for Louisville. Same thing for South Bend, which is where the University of Notre Dame is located, if I haven't made that specifically abundantly clear. And in the middle of Indianapolis, high chance of severe thunderstorms with downpours and torrential rain at fucking noon. What? And I look on the national radar, and there's a big blotch of goddamn storm rain coming across the Midwest. It looks like the spaceship in Independence Day. And it's going to, because Louisville to South Bend, as I said, 280 miles, it's directly south to directly north, straight up. This, and Indianapolis is right in the middle, and this thing's coming right to cut me off from where I need to go. I said, fuck, that looks bad. I'm going to leave now. So I get in the car, wake Stace up. Oh, the weather, I got to go. And I get all my stuff together, and I get in the truck, and I'll leave about 9 o'clock, right? So I'm going to get past this rain. And the only thing, Brian, that you go through between Louisville, Kentucky and South Bend, Indiana is cornfields and nothing besides Indianapolis. That's the one big city. You got to go around the 465 loop. There's all kinds of traffic and construction on it. The ramps go all kinds of different ways. It's 30 miles. It's a shitty little loop. And otherwise, you're driving through the fucking cornfield. I get almost to the Indianapolis loop, and it starts getting a little drizzly. And it's a little bit more drizzly. And then I'm almost ready to get on the loop, and that's when a kind of steady rain starts, but it's not too bad. And it's Sunday morning, so the traffic ain't horrible. But the farther I go around this loop, the goddamn darker the skies get. And then I start seeing the lightning coming. And then there comes the goddamn downpour. And it's almost pitch black, and people are slowing down, and you can't hardly see with the orange barrels and the construction. And I'm just a few miles from where I get off this thing and get back on the highway that will take me all the way to South Bend. And I can't get off this loop, and you don't know what the fuck's going on, right? So I figured if I just get to this exit, then when I get off, the first thing I'll do, I'll take the first place I can pull over. And then the deluge, and the people have their flashers on. And I take this exit, and immediately you can get off to the right, and I take this ramp. I can barely see anything. The fucking rain is blinding. I get down to the bottom of the ramp. I have to go to the right in some fashion. I do that, and over on the side, there's a big, it was a business complex of some kind, but it was closed. It's a Sunday morning. And there's a big empty parking lot. I pull in the middle of that parking lot, and I'm sitting there, and the rain is just hammering down, right? And I call Stacy, and I tell her that I've pulled over. I'm going to wait this rain out. Okay. And then as I'm sitting there, Brian, I realize I've been in the car for over 2 hours now. And I'm watching it pour rain like I'm standing in a shower. And I'm in the middle of an empty parking lot with there's condominiums and there's office buildings, like a 9-to-5 type of deal. There is no place in any visible direction that I could go to a gas station or anything like that. I got to piss. And that water is just coming down, and I'm looking around in the car, and I've got nothing that could be I can't piss in a metal fucking soft drink can. The tab might cut my wee-wee off or whatever, right? So I'm thinking, if I just open the door a crack and turn to the side while I'm in the driver's seat and pull the leg of my shorts in the proper direction, then I can do it without getting wet. I can do it outside of the car, right? Now, are you following me on this?
I mean, I'm following your story. I don't know about what you're doing, but yes.
Well, you can see that it would be feasible.
Technically, yes.
And it was for quite a while until I forgot that right as the evacuation ends of your bladder or whatever the fuck it is, your pressure on your stream, it goes down. It doesn't just snap off like a spigot. So as my pressure went down, oh shit, I just pissed all over my pants.
Oh my God.
And now I'm mad because now I'm wet, but it's not the rain. I've pissed myself. Now, bear in mind, I've already been freezing because remember, I said a couple weeks ago, I took Black Beauty in, spent all the money, got her serviced and everything, and I got the AC charged up that hadn't cooled in ages. So now that's the thing. I wore shorts and a t shirt thinking it's going to be hot weather, but it's fucking overcast and rainy, and the air conditioning is now cold and stuck on high. So I've been shivering to death. Now I've got wet pants. So then, finally, it stops raining.
You had a change. You had a change of pants with you just for your. You had more than one pair of pants for your trip, correct?
Well, but I ain't going to get out in the middle of the rain to get in the back of the goddamn truck to get the fucking clean pants. You see?
Yeah.
And then where am I going to change my pants in the goddamn parking lot?
In the truck. You could do it in the truck.
Well, I chose when the rain let up into a light sprinkle to just get the fuck out of there with a burger towel on my lap. So then bear in mind, I have gotten off the highway and turned right and immediately turned into a goddamn parking lot, right? But I got to go to the right, and the GPS says go to the right anyway that I got in my truck. And I turn right, and it takes me 20 minutes to get back on the highway I'm only 400 yards away from because there's some kind of goddamn traffic circle and lead in the wrong. I don't know where the fuck. I finally found the highway. And I get back on, and it's overcast all the way, but at least it doesn't rain. And I get to South Bend. Brian, have you ever been to South Bend, Indiana?
No, I haven't.
If we have listeners there, I don't mean to appear insensitive to your issues, but you live in a fucking shithole.
Oh, wow.
Now, the University of Notre Dame is a gorgeous place. I mean, the campus, I mean, it's beautiful, and the trees and the birds and the knowledge and the libraries and I understand they play football there every once in a while. But I came Highway 31 up through from Indianapolis through another 100 miles of cornfield. When I got into town, I'm thinking there's a college there, right, Brian? You mentioned when you knew I was going, well, maybe there's going to be some of those cool places, local restaurants or good food places, or
college town.
Maybe it's, the kind of, you see the vintage clothing or the unique vinyl store, comic shop, whatever, the cool college stuff, right? If you go to South Bend, if you need to pawn something, then I know a variety of places you could go. I go into town, and there's not even Perkins, I believe, was the highest level casual dining place I saw all the way through. I had to go through all the way through the middle of town from south to north. And at first it was just like, the pawn shop area. Then it became an area where most businesses appeared to be closed. And I stopped at a light, and there were many people on the corner, and they didn't appear to be going anywhere. They were just kind of there. And this woman walks from the other side of the street across 2 lanes to give me the roll down the window sign. And I'm like, green light, green light. And then you go through the middle of downtown, which is deader than Kelsey's nuts on Sunday morning. And then you get to the north side of it, and you're at the college, and that's a nice area, and that's where my hotel was. But it was a little disheartening that my impression of South Bend was I didn't want to get fucking carjacked. So I'm thinking we're probably not going to go too far to eat dinner, right? Whenever we go out. So I get to the hotel, get checked in. Everything's fine. I'm going to meet Bobby Fulton for dinner. And Stacy calls me and says, well, I'm following the ambulance. We're taking Mom to the hospital. I thought, to what? She hasn't been to the hospital since last July. It's her anniversary of going to, but as I've literally have not left town for years. And I'm like, what? I just got here. I said, is it everything okay? Well, we're following it. I'll call you back. So I'm standing by. And by the time she got to the hospital, she did feel better, but she had gotten dizzy and or disoriented kind of thing, and her blood pressure had dropped. And they wanted to monitor her heart rate, which was fluctuating. So Stacy's like, no, you don't have to come back home, but she's feeling better. We're keeping that. And they kept her for a couple of days, to monitor all these various things, see if they can figure out what the fuck. And she's got a follow-up coming up, but they let her out. But there, Stace was worried. And again, not only have I not been away from home overnight in years, but it's been 11 years since Stacy spent the night in this house alone without either me or Harley Quinn or both. So now, and now her mom's in the hospital, so she's freaking out over there or over here. I'm up there, but everybody gets into town. I mentioned Bobby Fulton. I mentioned Tom Burke. I mentioned Chris McMahon. And I'm going to meet them all. They're staying, Tom and Chris are over at the hotel next door to us. Same parking lot. Just I used points. And so I said, I've got the truck. It's just been serviced. I'll take us over to the library. Monday morning, we'll get there bright and early. Now, watch out, boys, because I just had this air charged up. It's going to freeze your balls off. Brian, we got in the truck. I started it. The air conditioning is goddamn stone cold dead.
No, how's that possible?
The air conditioning that has been stuck on high for the past 3 or 4 years that I just had charged up so it was cold and high is now stone cold. Will not blow. Not a puff.
Oh my God.
Not a puff.
What was the temperature?
Well, it wasn't bad in South Bend to go 2 miles, but I was going to have to come back to Louisville eventually where the heat index is going to be north of 100. So I'm already...
man.
So then we go on. Tom said, I know how to get there. I'm doing this from memory now. Well, we ended up parking in a lot. And we said, where we ended up and pulled up and asked, so where do we park for the library? Oh, you can park right in that lot. Let us give you a pass. Oh, well, thank you, kind lady. Right. And we parked in that lot and they had said, just walk that way. And we did walk that way. 0.9 fucking miles. There, Tom Burke's 80 years old. He makes us look young, right? And we've all had our various, except for McMahon. He's a kid. He deserved it. He should have crawled.
It was a mile from the parking lot to
the library? It was a mile from the parking lot to the library.
Oh my God.
So, it's a beautiful campus. So then I'll talk about our time there later on, but I'm just in the instance of we're in the middle of the story of going back and forth. We have our day there. We come back to the hotel. We decide to meet to go to dinner later on. And as I'm closing up the goddamn truck, the key fob, the thing that with the automatic locker and unlocker and panic button and pop the back and everything, the key fob I've had for 18 years now breaks off my keychain and falls on the ground.
Oh my God.
I mean, what the fuck? Okay, so they're going to ask where the best place within the near radius, right? We don't want to go back down south in that neighborhood. None of us are in the mood to fight for our dinner. They ask at the desk of the hotel, where's the best place we can go eat within a few mile radius of here? You know where they sent us? 2 miles down the road to the restaurant at the Embassy Suites.
They sent you to another hotel?
They sent us to another hotel as an example of the best place to eat around the area. And it wasn't even the goddamn, where they asked, it wasn't like they're sending us to another Hilton chain. They just said, no, this is the best place to eat around here. Because like I said, Perkins was on the other side of the there was a Culver's. But anyway, so we go down to the fucking Embassy Suites and we have again dinner, but I ordered the cheeseburger that's on there with all the loaded with the cheese and the onion and the fucking bacon and the whole 9 yards. And everybody's food comes and everybody's perfect. And I looked at it, mine. and they've given me a hockey puck that was burnt to a goddamn broiled crisp with nothing on it. No bacon, no onions, no dressing of any kind, just a lone dead slice of cheese. So again, I asked the lady, I said, "Oh, I'll take care of it." She gave it to me and comped it, but it's the idea that, again, I'm the only one that, what is it about me? Everything I touch is turning to disaster. So more on this later. The next day, we took the shuttle because they found out that the hotel shuttle would have taken us to the goddamn library and dropped us off at the front door. So we did that the second day, and it came and picked us up and brought us back. And as I was going over everything, I had noticed on Sunday morning, actually, before I left, but my gum on my back tooth was a little touchy. And I thought that maybe I'd stuck it with a tortilla chip or something the day before, or whatever, that kind of thing, right? No big deal. And I'd, for the past few days, I've been occupied, but I didn't have any real discomfort. But I'd noticed on Tuesday night, I said, "It's getting a little touchier." And I look in there, and there's the gum next to my back tooth is swollen up like the size of a large kernel of corn. I'm like, what the fuck is going on here now? This alien is popping out inside my mouth. So Wednesday morning, I get up early and I have to call Stace on the way to say, "Hey, can you get me a dentist appointment so they can see what the fuck's going on here?" But I've decided on Wednesday, I'll leave at 6:30 in the morning because that way I can beat the heat, right? It gets daylight. I'm an old man. I'm up anyway. So I get in the car at 6:30 in the morning. I check out of the hotel. Before I even get on the highway, I pull right over and I fucking gonna fill up with gas. And I get out and I open my wallet and I look and goddamn, I've left my credit card Monday night at the restaurant for that dinner. I didn't get it out when I signed the check. We were talking. I got distracted. I left it in the folio. And I've said, "Motherfucker, this is the first credit card I've ever lost in my life in 45 years of having credit cards." And so I have another card. I don't mean to say that I was destitute then, but here's another thing that I've never done before. So then I get the gas, I get in the car, I'm driving. Now I find out the air will blow if I'm driving 60 miles an hour down the road. But if you stop, you're fucked. So at least I wasn't completely miserable. But I got home and Stace had called the dentist and got me an appointment. And just to finish this story up, I went to the dentist on Thursday, as I mentioned earlier in the program. When we were hearing the news, I had a numb face. This tooth that has not hurt me in any way, that has not been sensitive to any kind of heat or cold, got infected because there's a crown on it that from many years ago. But apparently this insidious, whatever the fuck, bacteria got underneath in a cavity area that's underneath the gum line. And she's, "Oh, you'd never be able to clean that by yourself at home. That tooth has to come out." What? It's just the gum. The tooth has never hurt. The gum's been puffy for 4 days. No, it's loose. It's rotten underneath. We got to pull that son of a bitch in the near future. Right now, here's antibiotics, and we're going to fucking irrigate your goddamn infection. So when I talk about the bad tooth I've had with the post and everything, I can understand. But no, that's just been sitting back there minding its own business. Never bothered me a goddamn day. Oh no, it needs to go. I'm never going to leave town again. Oh shit, that was notes I was about to fucking read.
I don't know what you're ripping over there.
Yeah, I was ripping the fucking that's my inflate. Hold on, let me smooth this out.
So the first time you go on a trip in years, and
6 years.
You piss your pants.
Except for Bobby Eaton's funeral.
You piss your pants, you get caught in a storm. There's no food that's any good anywhere near your hotel.
I ate hotel food 4 days in a row.
You walk longer than you've walked maybe in years. You walked a mile.
2 miles. I'm losing a tooth. My truck is now, because now for the next week, it's going to be 105 degrees in Louisville. I can't just drive around town, which is all I ever drive. I can only get air when I'm going 60. So I'm going back over to see my man, Tyler. But I have to do the dentist thing well, I'm on the antibiotics right now too, so that the blood poisoning doesn't go to my brain.
But does the key fob falling apart end, all of a sudden you need it and the air conditioning is gone? Does this change your thoughts about possibly getting a new car?
No.
New truck?
No, I'm gonna do something. I don't know what to do about the fob. The fob may be fucked, but I'm gonna fix that air conditioning. It's just a measly air conditioning system in an otherwise passable vehicle.
Can't you just fix up the LaSalle and drive around in that?
It's getting to the point where it might be easier to restore the LaSalle than to restore the Expedition.
Yeah, you don't need a key fob for that.